Well, good morning from Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates, and welcome back to the Asia Le Mans Series before qualifying begins in just a few minutes' time ahead of the final two rounds, rounds 5 and 6 of the 2025-2026 Asia Le Mans Series. It's on a knife edge. I'm Graham Goodwin. Next to me is sports car racing legend, he loves it, Ollie Gavin. Down in pit lane, we'll be joined a little later by David Addison, who's pounding that beat today for us. Lots going on here in Abu Dhabi. There's some changes we need to bring you up to date with. We're going to have 3 quick-fire 15-minute qualifying sessions to set the grid for 2 4-hour races. 1 this evening, 1 tomorrow to complete the season. So the first 2 quickest laps from each of these drivers, it will be the bronze drivers aboard these cars, will determine the starting slots for these final 2 races. And Ollie, in LMP2, where one of 2 invitations to Le Mans sits as part of the prize fund, if you like, and in LMP3, it could barely be closer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's tied on points at the moment in the P2 class between the 47 Settle R Racing and the number 4 CrowdStrike Racing teams and lineups. So yeah, that has been wheel to wheel, let's say, throughout this Asia Le Mans Series. And we've had a couple of days of practice and testing here at Yas Marina, this beautiful facility for everybody to get ready. And here are the GT runners lining up here at the end of the pit lane, ready to go for this 15 minutes. Bronze drivers on board. You can see the 87 Origen car, which has been extremely competitive throughout.
It has a great looking car. It's been going very particularly in the bronze company in the hands of Bob Yuan.
Bob has been very impressive, hasn't he? Last of the late breakers.
There we are. This is round 5, 7th of February it is. It's been pounding on through. This is a quick fire format. Just last weekend, those 2 4-hour races, the one on Sunday in particular, Ollie, an absolute classic.
It was brilliant racing.
2 more to come around this now iconic circuit. I'm not afraid to use that word here. And, of course, both races will finish in full darkness under the floodlights. It's a great stage for what has been a great championship so far. That's the circuit.
Yeah, here's the track. 16 turns, 5.281 kilometres, and it is split up into these 3 sectors. And it really is a number of different sectors with different challenges for all of these drivers. And these bronze drivers are about to get out there on track. They have that quite tricky moment where they're driving out from pit exit here, and they go underneath the track through the tunnel, which brings them out on the exit of turn 3. Cold tyres. This really can be a little bit of a challenge for these guys. We've seen a few guys fall foul of that over the years, over the last couple of years. Just watching inside the TF Sport Garage there, those guys have been working through their changes over this weekend and trying to unlock a little bit more speed from that Corvette Z06 GT3R. And it's proving to be a little bit of a challenge for some of those guys.
Not far away from going green, looking further down what is a 19-car GT grid here at Yas Marina. Now, those who have been with us for the season will note that's a change, and that's unfortunately because we lost a car in private testing earlier in the week.
Yes, we did. The 99 had a big incident coming off of turn 3. Had some contact with a P2 car, high-speed corner there, about 180 k's, and the 99 just had a tiny bit of contact with a P2 car, which then sent it off into the barrier on the right-hand side, and the damage was so big the car had to be pulled from the race, and the weekend, which is a real great shame.
That has had knock-on effects, so we'll be seeing a different driver aboard the sister 66 car. This is the 92 from Montai, by the way. This has had a very quiet season. This is a team I expected to be at the sharp end. It's not quite got there at all. This will be Francois Heriot. Viewers of the FI World Endurance Championship will be very familiar with Francois' as we go green, efforts aboard the AF Corsa Ferrari.
Yeah, I had a good chat with Ricky Perra, who is the silver in that car, and he sort of says we just keep trying to unlock a little bit more speed, luck, strategy, and it's just not fallen their way. The sister car has certainly come on strong in many of the races and had some very good finishes, and they are still very much in the hunt.
This is, of course, that's completely unique underground pit exit, familiar to, I'm sure, fans of Formula One. I'm sure there'll be many people filling in their motorsport diary with racing here this weekend, and you are welcome to join us. We'll explain a little bit about the nuances of endurance racing as we get through these sessions, and of course the 4-hour race to come. Board now with the Kessel racing car that leads the GT class. It's long back straights.
Yes, huge back straight. About 260 k's when they get into that turn 6. A little bit deep there for Bob Brown. And just trying to get those Michelins up to temperature. It's a slightly harder compound that they're running on this year with Michelin, and some teams are really enjoying it, and some other manufacturers and teams are still working away to get themselves dialed in. As they're coming into turn 9 here, banked turn, third gear, around just over 100 k's an hour, then building up, and then we're just coming running back towards the hotel here, the W Hotel, this iconic hotel here in the centre of the racetrack here at Yas Marina. And it's hard on the brakes, and then all the way down to first gear here, trying to pull it through the slowest right-hander there, then this next left-hander off camber, slightly quicker, and then this next left, again off camber, but it's slightly quicker still. Careful of the wall there on the right-hand side, up through the box, and then this fast right-hander. Whoa, big oversteer on the way in there, and he's off. Oh, using the runoff there, but you see how that left rear was not switched on at all, turned in, and a big correction there. Not ideal to have that on what's looking like going to be the start of this first time lap, but Bob is just getting those tyres completely up to temperature here. It's going to take a couple of laps. Grip levels are up here at Yas Marina compared to the Dubai Autodrome, but I think it's going to take a few laps here. It's quite cool.
Yeah, Origin Motorsport, winners of the GT World Challenge Asia, the principal product across Southeast Asia from the co-promoters of the Asia Le Mans Series these days, SRO. GT racing around the world in GT3, GT4 and GT2 as well. But Origin are a well-drilled team, and they're getting their first flavour really of global endurance racing, sports car racing, where they're not in the fastest car in the race, remember, because we've got the prototype cars in amongst and ahead of them.
That 77 car, the Banksy car, had quite an incident earlier on in the week. It had quite a fire, didn't it?
I gather so, yeah, that's the reason why. I was going to mention as they came through the hotel turn, if you're a fan of your social media, why shouldn't you be? There's lots of reasons why you shouldn't be, but for the good reasons, the extraordinary picture put together with the full grid for 2025-2026 by Andy Lofthouse, one of our official photographers here.
Mega shot, really fantastic.
That car didn't make it, one of 3 that didn't make it, and that was because they were making repairs to a fire. I think that car done on pit lane, I believe.
Yeah. I watched, my wife and I, Helen, we sat and watched you
line
all those cars.
Yeah, here it was. There you were, up on the left there.
Yes. I had a nice glass of red wine. It was really nice, great view.
We could hear you.
Yes,
we just chose
I'm
to
glad.
ignore it.
I'm really pleased.
Bob Yuan then, coming back round. We'll hope for a less dramatic way through the penultimate and ultimate corners here.
He's managed to keep it on the island, nicely done, inside track limits.
And now we're going to start to see the pace come into this this session. That will grow, certainly my guess would be, Ollie, for the next 5, 6, 7 minutes. Whether or not they could go as deep as the 15 minutes in the session.
I actually think that some will, and I'm talking to a couple of the guys down at WRT in the BMW team, that they are looking like they're going to run the whole session here, because it seems like the lap times come on like lap 7, 8.
Wow.
So yeah, it's going to be right at the end of the session.
Steve Jans, so he added, or rather into the number 9 car after Sepang, so not in the running for full season honours. I'll tell you about the points a little later in the running, but Get Speed have been so quick in qualifying, but it's fallen away more in the race.
Yes,
the pit just to the left-hand side there, that is where pit exit blends into this racetrack.
Yeah, and that's a brutal part of the track where there's such high speed, cars under load, and then cars popping out of the pits. Fresh tyres, cold. It really does create quite a challenge here. Coming into Francois Uriot, coming into the section around the hotel, still just getting everything up to temperature here, just bleeding the speed through, into, and then off nicely on the throttle. Not using all of the road there, just still needs to get himself fully in the zone. Porsche does turn in a little aggressively there, into turn 15, and how does it stop and then go across the apex pretty nicely into turn 16.
Now we're getting to the stage where the proper lap times are coming. You can see that. Look at that middle sector time from Origin Motorsport, 2 seconds up on his previous best in that sector, coming round now to complete the lap. And I think we're about to see the first of the truly representative times here.
Yeah, just very close there on track limits. Had to keep all 4, has to keep one of those wheels inside that white line.
So 9 minutes to go. It's a 1:55.027 from Bob Yuan in the Origin Motorsport car. What is the answer going to be from some of the others around him? Steve Jans is up on that time coming through here.
Traffic though there being held up through that hotel section by the 59 McLaren, which has also been very quick.
And also behind him, by the way, you can see there the purple fronted QMMF by Get Speed car, the 37 car.
On pole, wasn't it?
It was.
In Dubai.
And excellent performance in qualifying. So unlucky to be taken out by someone else's accident in the second race.
Go to pole. A 54.841 for the number 37 car.
Now he goes through it. Yes, indeed. That's a 0.186 up on Bob Yuan. Is it going to be another banner day for Qatar and for the AMG?
Giacomo Petrobelli been very, very fast, but a little erratic in Dubai and had
goes top.
Plenty of contact as well. I'm sure Johnny's going to have been working with him over this week, just trying to sort of dial it back a little bit. This car has had loads of potential, and Johnny usually knows, and does know actually, how to unlock the very best from his bronze drivers. So,
if you're watching online, by the way, and with live timing, and the Asian Le Mans Series website does have an excellent expert mode on its live timing screen. Keep an eye out for the second fastest time, remember, because that will be the time that sets the grid for the series finale. It's 2 quick laps that these guys are going to make, and Bob Yuan has not made a good stab at that, because he track limits on sector 1 on the lap he's currently on. That will not count.
Yeah.
So Petrobelli to the top. It's a 1:54.750, just under a 10th clear of Abdullah Ali Al Khalifi. Bob Yuan, Dustin Blattner in the championship leading by 22 points, championship leading Kessel Racing Ferrari. They've had a cracking season. Steve Jansen, the number 9 car. Mabel Gidley right up there in the 15 Kessel Racing car, which is under investigation for an unsafe release as the session went green, by the way. And Terrasau right up there in the points for the Montai number 10 team. TF Sports Blake McDonald, an absolute star in the Dubai races in the number 11 Corvette. Montai's number 92 in the hands of Francois Heriot. And another addition here, by the way, another change. The 54 AF Corsa car, Vista AF Corsa car, Castadio Toledo and Riccardo Agostini replace our Dutch friends that were there in that car in Dubai.
Steve Jans goes to the top, a 1:53.545. That is truly representative now of the lap times we were expecting to sort of see. And these 2 cars, the Get Speed cars, really have been the class of the field here this weekend, as well as Dubai. They just haven't been able to execute in the race, looking like they are in prime position now. Yeah. Dustin Blattner goes third for the number 74 Kessel Racing car.
It's another quick lap time, by the way, from Abdullah Ali Khalifi. Remember, those 2 lap times are going to count. So at the moment, I think that's likely to put him second for both races.
Oh, I think he could be even first for the second race. I'm not going to get myself too confused here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dustin Blattner, though, pushing on. He's going to close that gap. He's been there and thereabouts throughout this season. But Kessel Racing have been dynamite through the races.
They've got a 21-point lead in the championship. So they are in control of where they need to be going with this championship. And it's all about being smart. Dustin is pressing on here. The way that the car was dancing into turn 9, fully committed there. He is looking for every last little bit of performance from this Ferrari 296, and it's impressive how he's got this on its toes all the way in and through these turns around the hotel here. Turns 13, 14, nicely done across that, nice and smooth, power down, traction looks good. How's he going to be as he comes into 15? Pretty decent, manages to get nicely to the apex there. Track limits should be good. Then how's he going to deliver it through and off this final turn 16? Nicely done, balanced car, looks good. Stays P3 though.
The point to make, by the way, about the run through to watch the 2 AMGs come through, for Dustin Blattner, Dennis Marshall and the Kessel Racing team, is their level of dominance is such that were they not in that points position, Ollie, the 52 points on offer for qualifying in the 2 races would be enough that every other car in the field in GT would be mathematically in the hunt.
Yeah.
As things stand, it's just 8 of them, and that's a mark of that dominance. It is a purple sector for the purple car in sector 1. That is Abdullah Ali Al Khalifi is on course at the moment to get very close indeed to Steve Janss's current pole-setting time for this evening's race.
Yeah, I think Steve is actually towing him around. So this next sector is the critical sector for straight line speed. And if Abdullah is right up behind Steve, he will be picking up a decent tow, and it's whether Steve's going to be nice enough to deliver him to turn 9 nice and cleanly.
Up, by the way, into 4th place now is the Team WRT, the 28. That's the blue and grey, dark grey Team WRT BMW. Rinat Selikov, another new name here this weekend. That's a change for the WRT team. He goes 4th quickest. It's still up on the pole position time for Al Khalifi, as is Rinat Selikov, already a race winner. That was Bob Yuan. I think that is track limits on the exit of the final turn.
Yeah, but there's still plenty of people improving here.
Here he comes. This is the 37 car, still being towed along by Steve Janss. What are the times going to be looking like here? This is a critical lap for the Qatari driver. Keeps it under control there through the penultimate turn. Gets the hammer down now and will push onto the line. Is this going to be good enough for pole? It is, for the moment at least. 0.163 to the good. Getting now down into the low 153s. 2.5 minutes to go. A 153.382. And it's another corking display in qualifying from Abdullah Ali Al Khalifi and QMMF by GetSpeed.
Yep. To me like Steve is maybe going to have another crack at it to see if he can get himself back on pole position. 56 car Giacomo Petrobelli coming through, looking for an improvement here, and he actually goes P3.
We've got some trouble, I think, out just before it's at turn 12. 54 car, I think, has had a bit of a moment. They've got that back underway, but the 54 car that is out there in the hands of Custodio Toledo, there it is, back on track, but I think that car has been off circuit.
Yeah, Steve Janss, purple first sector. So as we were sort of like looking and seeing, he is definitely pressing on. But so's Giacomo Petrobelli. Oh, this is the 54 car coming into that section around the W Hotel, and that was just a little bit too aggressive on the brakes, trying to get the car slowed up. And it's just stalled, actually. He's just trying to get it refired.
Exactly how we parked those cars for that full grid shot the other evening.
Did. I wasn't anything to do with the parking of the cars, that was all you. So.
Second at the moment, but on time for Steve Janss. Actually now almost exactly on schedule to match that time.
He would dance it in a little bit hard there into that first apex right-hander underneath the hotel, but he's got it all gathered up again. And is it going to be nice and smooth through these last 2 turns here, coming into the final turn? It does turn in quite early for turn 16, but it seems to work for him, just keeping it inside the track limits.
Steve Janss goes to the top, and it's 153.307. Keeping an eye as well on Giacomo Petrobelli. He's gone 3rd quickest, but he's almost matching this time. He is in the final sector. Here he comes now, under the bridge at the hotel. And if he can keep this could be a front row display, if not better.
Yeah. Very progressive on the throttle there as he came off 14. The car looks nice and settled as he's coming in and through this final turn. He can power down nicely. Oh, it could be a little bit there of track limits, I don't know. That's not for me to call.
And no improvement.
Stays P3.
Lost half a second in that final sector.
Yeah.
And see Johnny Adam in the background there, impassive.
Yeah, we'll be offering further. We're going to check it out now. Check the flag.
So it's this lap and no others. Already seen Darren Young cross the line. He's in 11th place. JMR's Prince Jeffrey, that shift around, which puts Prince Jeffrey, by the way, into the remaining JMR car at the expense of Yasser Shaheen, who I'm afraid is on the sidelines. If you're listening in and watching, Yasser, hope we see you back soon. We know we're going to see you in the FI World Endurance Championship in a few weeks' time. Rotten luck for the circumstances that saw that move happening. will be both the princes aboard the 66.
Mimo Gidley here on board with him in the Kessel Racing number 15 car. He's had a pretty good championship. It's a little bit quiet. I thought that these guys were going to be challenging a little bit more, but these guys are just working away at it. Mimo Gidley, Dylan Medler, Alessandro Bolzan, great characters, great people, and with a fantastic team in this Ferrari 296.
Looking at the way the lap times are coming together, there are a few improvements up and down the order, particularly down to the bottom end of the order. Get speed, Steve Jans crosses the line, no improvements.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see an improvement here from Mimo. He's about 8/10 up, it seems, on his best, so he's got it all together, nicely delivered into the apex there at 16. Is it enough?
Petrobelli is in the window here, by the way. Could be an improvement there from him. And McGidley crosses the line. The 15 car will complete the session with an improvement, but he will be 14th in the order. Petrobelli again drops time in that final sector.
Yeah, it does seem to be the area of the racetrack that the Aston is just giving up a little bit of lap time there in that sector. That final
a bit
one.
of drama right at the end of the
Banksy.
session for Banksy in the 77
He
Proton
had a
Porsche.
rather lively Dubai, didn't he?
He did. Banksy, by the way, a Japanese Porsche driver, not the street artist. That's not
really?
Not as far as I'm aware, unless the street artist turns out to be a Japanese guy who's pretty handy in a 911. We'll say, though, it is again a front row dominated by AMG. This time, though, pole position for this evening's race will go to Steve Jans in the number 9 Get Speed Mercedes AMG. And Abdullah Ali Al-Khalifi, having held that top spot for a little wee while, will sit alongside on the front row.
I think it'll be a double pole for Steve Jans. Looking at the timing screen, I can see. And Abdullah Al-Khalifi will be second as well for both races.
It will be Giacomo Petrobelli third.
Again for both races, I believe.
And championship leader Dustin Blattner will be looking to get to the front of that queue as quickly as he can.
It's pretty consistent here. It looks like everybody has delivered the lap times, and Dustin so will be P4 for the first race and also for the second race.
Yeah, quick look there at our remaining 66 JMR car, and Prince Geoffrey aboard that car, 16th place on this grid. So less than a tenth of a second between the two AMGs, and then a quarter of a second back Giacomo Petrobelli in the Acuria Cross Blackthorn Aston Martin. There are the times. Kessel Racing 74 in a good position to start this race, to defend that points lead they've got. And then both the Team WRT cars finishing, it was actually Tony McIntosh at the end of that session leapfrogging the sister car. He finishes in 5th ahead of Rinat Selikov in the 28 car. Origine's Bob Yuan led the session very early on, finishes 7th in the 87 Porsche. United Autosports, bright orange McLaren 8th. TF Sports, Blake McDonald in the 11 Corvette in 9th. And Antares Au rounds out the top 10 in 10th place. Let's go down to David Addison.
Good start to the day for Get Speed. I should point out the cars go to the scrutineering area at the top of the pit lane, which is a little bit out of range for our microphone. So instead, we'll talk to a very happy man that hasn't even been in the car this morning, Fabian Schiller. That's a really good start to the day for the team, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so far we've been quite lucky in the qualifyings. We've always performed pretty well. 6 out of 6 poles for Get Speed, which shows that our car has been very strong this season. And also our bronze driver is doing an amazing job. You know, these two are, I think, one of the top 2 bronzes worldwide, and they keep delivering, and obviously great to start from pole for both races.
And that session seemed to get quicker and quicker all the way through. Is that the nature of this Yas Marina circuit, or is it the time of day? Do we expect that in the next part of qualifying from the prototypes, for example?
No, it's more the type of the track, the asphalt. You know, it's not a very aggressive asphalt in terms of tire degradation, so the tire doesn't really drop a lot. Which means you can do consecutive laps in qualifying, and obviously for a bronze driver it helps. The more laps you get a feel for the conditions for the car underneath you, and then obviously you can extract more and more performance during the run. And yeah, it works out perfectly for our car as well. You know, the tire works pretty well on this asphalt characteristics. In Dubai it was a little bit more difficult and tricky to get it together, and you also only had 1 or 2 laps in qualifying, but here it's a little easier.
You've also, in this championship, compared to pure GT championships, always, whether it's you or the bronze drivers, got to be mindful of quicker cars around you. You're trying to drive your own race and be mindful of theirs. It must be tricky.
Well, yeah, it's part of endurance racing, you know. It's a IMSA thing, it's a WEC thing, it's a ELMS thing, an Asian Le Mans thing, you know, where you have the prototypes. And to be honest, it makes the racing a little more difficult as a pro driver sometimes, you know, because you're trying to close up gaps and so on. You have prototypes coming from behind, you lose a little bit of time, but it's the same for everyone, you know. Over the course of the race, usually it balances out between the cars of who's lucky or unlucky sometimes in traffic situations. So yeah, it's something we have to deal with as drivers, which is an extra factor that makes it a little bit more difficult. But yeah, so far we've been quite decent in the traffic situations and lucky, and hopefully it stays like this weekend.
And the other thing we talk about at this circuit particularly is the floodlighting. We say the race will end in darkness, but it's probably brighter at the end than it is at the start because of the floodlights. What's it like under the lights?
Yeah, you don't really notice it a lot as a driver, you know. It's not the typical night driving experience that you get on some other tracks, but to be honest, it's a nice scene, it's a nice atmosphere when it gets a little darker, the floodlights and so on. It's cool. We always love come racing here.
Excellent. Have a good day. Have a good race.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Fab Fiola, now a fully fledged Mercedes-AMG factory driver, growing in confidence and experience.
Makes some good points, though. You know,
does.
the Asian Le Mans Series really has grown over the last number of years, and it really is a fantastic championship now for so many of these drivers to really cut their teeth and be part of this really amazing championship that is really quite something in terms of driving experience, you know, whether it's mixing it up with multi-class racing, being able to deal with all of these different GT cars, P3 cars, P2 cars, and understanding how to extract the most performance and then race against one another. Multi-class racing, it really is a challenge for everyone.
Yeah, we're scrolling through here, the top three. You saw briefly in the Icarios Blackthorn garage, Kobe Pells, and to the right, with the beard, by the way, that's Club Beauvais, one of the owners of Blackthorn. And this is our pole sitter, and I'm going to believe you, Ollie, that is a double pole sitting performance for the number 9 Get Speed Mercedes AMG.
You actually believe in me.
Yeah, that's been the first and the last, I'll be honest with you. We know your reputation. But it goes quiet until the instruction is delivered to the LMP3 teams that they can move their cars to the pit apron. 10 cars it will be in this session. 9 of the Ligier GSB 325s and 1 Duqueine D09. Now, of course, for the first time in the Asian Le Mans Series with this Gen 3 powertrain, the Turbo Toyota. But before we get to that, we're going to get down to that Icarios Blackthorn garage. David Ellison has collared British GT legend, Le Mans GT Pro winner for Aston Martin, and now here in the Asian Le Mans Series, Johnny Adam.
Not a bad start to the day for the Blackthorn Aston Martin, Johnny Adam, but lap after lap, we got all excited about Giacomo's time, and it seemed to ebb away in the last couple of corners. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think a little bit tired egg towards the end. He purpled the first split, but then it looked like T12 to T14. The tyre had gone, so ultimately we lost 3 tenths there. So yeah, if you had maybe got a clearer lap earlier on, we could have maybe sniffed pole, but it's still, you know, to get a second row for both races is good. That's why we kind of wanted to be in the top 4. He delivered the laps. Car feels really good on a race balance. And actually, the cooler the ambient, the better this Aston Martin Vantage goes. So we're quite hopeful for both races later on this afternoon.
In Dubai, he was quick, but he seemed to either get roughed up on occasions or rough others up. What have you put in his cup of tea this morning to calm him down?
Deliver, because we never delivered qualifying in Dubai. We were on the back foot, you know, we qualified 8th or 9th, I think, for both races, and he really should have been in the front 2 rows. So now we're in the right gaggle we need to go with, and the car actually feels better here. There's a little bit more asphalt grip for Abu Dhabi to Dubai, so it suits our platform really well. So yeah, we'll see. Nice clean race. Kobe's joined us this year. Kobe Powell's, he's driving so well. We're a really good addition to the team. So collectively, I think we've got a good package and a fast package. We just have to have no mistakes this time, deliver, and it'd be great for the team if we can get back on that podium.
As a stalwart GT racer that's driven Astons in just about every championship going, just reflect on Asian Le Mans. We come here with yet another mega grid, and for, in quotes, a winter championship. You know, it's almost the envy of many main championships that go on during the year. For a 3-weekend winter series, it's amazing.
It's a great platform, great championship. I've done this championship on and off for the last 4 or 5 seasons now, and it's just it's expanded with quality and grid numbers as well. The great thing with this, with ACO, it's all multi-class, so traffic management is very important, especially for the bronze drivers that want to do ELMS, or some people are actually doing this as a added championship to WEC as well. So it's a great time of year to be driving, and you learn so much, especially over the 2 weekends in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It's all intense, but you can learn so much, and it's a great way to start your season. And ultimately, everyone's chasing a Le Mans entry as well, so the competition level is through the roof. It's very high.
Talking of which, what does the rest of the season hold for you?
A few announcements to come in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I've got a busy calendar. My wife and family won't see me as much this year as last year. I've got a real cool program this year that will be announced soon. So I've worked on it a little bit behind the scenes, but it's all come together. So I'm very grateful for that. And this will be my 14th or 15th season with Aston Martin Racing. So it's cool. I'm really excited for the year. It starts now. Obviously, this championship obviously started in December. So we want to finish obviously this weekend on a high for everyone at Blackthorn and Curie Cos. And it's great to see Curie Cos come back as well. You know, as a name, they're celebrating 70 years, obviously, since their Le Mans win. And to do that as a partnership with Blackthorn is really cool. So it's nice to be part of that, and let's see if we can finish on a high for this championship.
Right, let's watch this space. Johnny, thanks.
What a delight to see him grow as a professional. And I was going to say to you there, the feedback he was giving David about Giacomone's performance so far showed exactly what comes from the really good professional coaches, coach driver, if you like, or a bronze driver. He's not being soft here. He's being hard. He's making it very clear. But I remember when I was introduced to Johnny, I knew him through British GT in the garage at Fuji, I think, in the World Endurance Championship many years ago. And it's such a pleasure to see a young man like him growing through the experience and the success he's had.
Yeah, he really is one of the best professionals out there. And then he has this real ability to bring on and to sort of coach, mentor the bronze drivers as they're coming into this sport, and the level of complexity and the technical side of things, and really trying to sort of work with that driver and grow that driver and deliver championships and results. And you know, Johnny's record speaks for itself in how many championships he's won in British GT.
Four times.
Four times that.
Many would say could have, should have been a fifth, with a controversial penalty that robbed him of the point that would have given him that. Let's move on though to LMP3. That is the championship position. Look in particular at the top 4 cars there, 17, 13, 29 and 71, separated by 11 points. High Class Racing not that far behind. The number 8 from Virage not that far behind. They're all in the hunt. And I think for me, what we've seen in the past, because of the unique part of the rule set, these 2 long pit stops that have to be burned during the race, Ollie, is quite often LMP3 as a spectacle comes together very late.
It always sort of really comes together in that last stint, doesn't it? And
it's not been like that this time.
I mean,
the second race at Dubai was indeed completely wild and fantastic to see. What have we seen since then? Well, if you joined us at the Dubai race, you'll be pleased to hear that Louis Stern and the 23 events car came away from that. Well, the car didn't come away unscathed, but could be repaired. You'll see that car out in this session. Louis was absolutely fine.
It was a huge hit.
Massive hit.
Huge
and
hit.
It's
a real testament, absolute testament to the construction, the safety of the vehicles, and also all the barriers and the way that it all looked after. It was fantastic to
Absolutely.
see.
But we have seen one car, and you can see it right at the back of the shot, the number 13 Europol car, completely new chassis for that car, after damage that was basically discovered on the way to the grid for the second race in Dubai. So they realised they got, I think it was a suspension mount, wasn't it, damaged into the tub.
Pulled out the chassis, yeah.
And so really no chance of progression there. But they come here in a strong position in the championship. We're on board now, Ajit Kumar, and the Indian superstar of cinema, looking to make his way in international motorsport, had a very tough, I think we'll use that word, second race in Dubai. Needs to get his head into the task in hand.
Absolutely, and good team around him there at Virage, and certainly learning from those little incidents and mistakes and just trying to piece it all together here. Yas Marina, is it going to be easier? I think it will be. But still, multi-class racing is tough, and the level here this year has just gone up another notch. I know we will regularly talk about this, but it really seems that the bar has just managed to be nudged up again and again and again, and it really is, for somebody new into multi-class racing, it's a lot to deal with.
Look, you, throughout your entire career, full pro driver, factory level, with one of the best teams in the world, achieved a huge amount in your career. I will stow my cynicism to one side for the purposes of this.
I'm waiting for the,
No.
the hook here.
It's tough. You know, you've got faster cars, prototype cars, whether or not it was in your time in the American Le Mans Series, the IMSA WeatherTech Series, the World Endurance Championship, and particularly at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, you're not in the fastest class of car.
No.
You're there with people around you you have to trust, and the GT Pro class is one of those ones that is a huge favourite of the fan base around the world. You're the pro. How tough is it? And then we can escalate that to the question about the AMS here.
It is. It's a huge amount of processing. It's a huge amount of trying to understand how you generate your lap time around the racetrack and how others need to be able to generate that lap time, and which bit of racetrack do you need to be on at that particular point, and how you can kind of blend everything together. And that is the real challenge. And for a pro driver who's completely comfortable with their surroundings and the tyre that they're on and the track conditions and everything, you know, that comes pretty naturally, and it comes just almost, you don't really have to think about it too much. But for somebody who is just learning their way, learning their craft, and coming into it in a very alien environment and trying to deal with all of the interior, and whether it's the buttons on the wheel or the instructions from the team, or whether it's getting that Michelin tyre right into that right window to work properly and staying online, and all of those things, they can easily overload a driver. And that's one of the things with all of these bronze drivers. They have to slowly train themselves, get them into the right flow, into that right sort of lane, so that things really do work for them. And if they don't, then you can start getting into situations like we had last weekend in Dubai.
A few changes, one of which we'll see in this session this morning, and that's for the RHGP team, the 85 Duquesne, the sole Duquesne in the order. Fabien Michal is back at the wheel there, so some changes for the RHGP squad. We've got in the 26 car this morning, Chachik Salonka, no change there, but a change in the background to the other two drivers in that Breton racing car. They've had, as a team, a simply horrible Asia Le Mans series so far, some of which, I'll say, a little bit self-inflicted. But
it's been horrendous.
But we're not going to see the two third generation racers, Lenny Reed and Lorenzo Fluxer, not in that car.
Which I think is a real shame, because they would have been fantastic to see out on track in these LMP3 machines, and those two guys are trying to make their way and cut their teeth and understand about multi-class racing and understand about this sort of like entry-level platform in prototype racing, and I think that's a real shame for those guys.
It is. So what we are going to see in the race later, by the way, is the 2024 Ligier European Series champions reunited, Hayden Chance and Theo Mercouris. I keep calling him Theo, it's Theo Mercouris. Back together. Good to see those two lads. They will be a good combination, and they'll be a bit of a bellwether for just exactly where this Breton racing team is in terms of their preparation, their available pace.
Yeah, we're seeing Wozniak and Whale here sort of tripping up over one another as they're trying to drive around, and they're just trying to sort of get the upper hand and who's going to be in the lead of this group. And sometimes it's just better. There's plenty of track out there, guys. Just give each other some room. It's, we've still got 10 minutes to go here. Just breathe it and find yourself a spot and a space. Focus on you. Don't focus on the car around you.
Just 10 cars in this session, of course. So again, as we wait for the quick lap times to come, Ollie, we've seen in Dubai two utterly extraordinary finishes to the LMP3 races. But in particular, the second race in Dubai, for me, I think we'll look back at that race, and that was one of the all-time great Asia Le Mans Series races.
It was completely nuts how it all finished.
It was
confusion, wheel to wheel, and cars coming from the back, cars stopping.
But we're also seeing,
dropping to third or fourth, and they're coming back to the lead.
We're also seeing, this is not the 17 of Paul Lanchet, by the way, who we'll be looking to see whether or not he can complete the clean sweep of pole position.
Pole position lockout, hasn't he?
He has. This is the number 17, later to the session than the rest, so he's got plenty of clear track.
His team were wise and put him out on track. A little bit of a wiggle there as he came into turn 15. Just still trying to get those Michelins up and in the window. But yes, definitely delivered him out onto the track in a nice, clean bit of racetrack. And there you go, goes P1.
Rather oddly, he's ahead of the 85, so I think that 85 has either had a very slow lap or been off at some point. But
I think it went out late as well.
OK, we'll wait and see what comes here. But Paul Lanchier is going to be the one to watch in terms of the available pace. 4 pole positions, 2 at... big wiggle there.
Big snap. I mean, he's pressing on, really is.
Yep, 2 at Sepang, 2 at Dubai. Let's see what's available here from the Swiss team. Team principal, of course, Nico Lapierre, endurance racing legend that he is. This is the team that previously were known as Cool Racing.
Yeah, Tim's still walking the car across the track in there into turn 11, 12, 13 and 14.
Lanchier, by the way, has gone quick very quickly in this session. He, despite being last into the session, already 5 seconds quicker than anybody around him. There's more to come from these cars.
Yes, without doubt. I mean, these guys are going to find significant pace over the next couple of minutes, couple of laps.
Yeah, Louis Stern goes second for 23 events racing, but these times will come down. Again, remember, you're not looking for just the top time, it's the top 2 times. That will define the grid for Sunday and the series finale. This is a very intense weekend to complete a proper international championship. LMP3 does not attract an automatic entry to the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I seem to recall they do get a bit of a favour in the Road to Le Mans races. And Road to Le Mans race, in fact, this time. It's a 1 endurance race at Le Mans for the LMP3 cars of the Michelin Le Mans Cup and guests.
Yeah, the 85 car sounds like it might have a bit of a gearbox problem. It seemed like he's struggling to find the right gears. He was hard on the limiter all the way through and into turn 12 there, just coming into the hotel, and it seemed like he was then in the wrong gear as he tried to get hard on the power off that corner.
Yeah, Lanchier 1:51.704. That is a proper time. 7.5 minutes to go, halfway through this session, and Paul Lanchier is giving himself plenty of room to get the hammer down and try to put this session to the sword.
So sword purple again, first sector. Yeah, he's in the window, pressing on.
Let's see if we can listen to the 85 car. Sounds more like a Formula E at this point.
It seems like he's shifting okay now. Maybe it was just a little bit of finger trouble, or maybe it was just a little bit of an issue that he had on that particular lap.
And by the way, he's gone second quickest, albeit a 1:54, so it's 2.5 seconds off, but quicker than anybody else around him at the moment. And again, going purple in that sector. Tim Well goes second, briefly. Louis Stern now second, but still 1.6 seconds off Paul Lanchier's best effort. There is Nico Lapierre. What a handsome beast he is.
Great beard. Strong beard work there.
Yep. 6.5 minutes to go. Lanchier again up on his current provisional pole setting time. Fabien Michel also going very quickly indeed.
I mean, Paul Lanchier's such a long way out in front at the moment. He's 1.6 seconds up the road.
Well, in part, Ollie, you said it yourself, that there were too many people in that gaggle that went early that were tripping over each other. They've effectively wasted a lap doing that.
They have.
Lanchier, at the moment, coming through the final turn, it's 1:51.704 last time around. What is this going to be? 1:51.704 becomes a 1:51.460. Double pole at the moment, with under 6 minutes to go. Can anybody get within a country mile of that?
Sure.
Fabien Michel improves again, but that's going to be no better than 7th for him. It is, beyond that, quite a tight session.
And Fabien Michel seems like it's going okay, but it's still a little bit messy.
Goes second.
He does go second, but it just seems like it's not flowing for him, whereas Paul Lanchier, it just looks like he's absolutely in the zone and hooking up the lap completely. 1.1 seconds clear of everyone else in this class.
And purple again on the next sector.
Wow.
If a cake could walk, this would indeed be a cakewalk at this stage.
That's just terrible.
I'd just hate to disappoint you with actual humour. 5 minutes to go. Lanchier from Michel, from Stern, from Adcock, CLX Motorsport, RHGP. Team Virage's Roman Wozniak goes third now, the number 8 car. High Class Racing's Tim Wells sits fourth. Nick Adcock just shuffles back up into 5th place. But the gap, and that's a big lock-up for the 23 car.
Yeah, just got in a bit deep there, locking up that right front as he's coming into turn 12.
And
it's a tricky one because you're trying to arrow the car into the outside, and it's just that's so unweighted on that right side.
If you're looking in to keep a check on the progress of Ajit Kumar, I can tell you he is making laps. They are somewhat off this pace. What is that? A 158, 115 is best. But that's the smart decision. Build the confidence in the car, build the knowledge about this circuit. There he is with the championship leading car, the 13 car just behind in the hands of Alex Bekantsov. Bekantsov currently is sitting in 3rd place.
I think a lot of these guys will do their fastest lap towards the end of this session, almost the last lap.
Terence Woodward goes through 2nd place and under a second back now for the number 71 car that took the win in dramatic circumstances on Sunday.
Wow, it was such a great race there.
Great stuff.
Amazing.
Launcher again goes quicker. 151.450 now. 3.5 minutes to go.
And he's up again in that first sector. He keeps unlocking lap time. Just those little pieces, that 10th at a time. Sector after sector after sector, and he's just finding those little gains, and that's the way to do it. And he's really built this qualifying session out in a smart and consistent way and delivered.
Terence Woodward, though, is on a quick lap here. He's not up on the pole time, but he's not a million miles away, you know. A good 3rd sector could be could that be troubling for pole for tomorrow?
It could, and Terence has grown in confidence through this championship, and certainly their win there in Dubai.
Oh, he was buzzing. I went along to have a quick chat with Matus Ripa, his Slovakian co-driver that just put in a mesmeric stint at the end of the race.
Yeah,
Terence was buzzing.
Absolutely brilliant final stint there from that young lad.
Here he comes across the line now and loses a little in the final sector. There's no improvement there. So it's that begins to go away again.
Yeah, that final sector that really is a challenge, and you've got to be just the right amount of aggression. And this is coming through that final little sector there, off of 14 into 15, on board with Paul Lanchere, dancing the car on the brakes into 16, delivers it nicely across the apex, and then the car just lit up the rears slightly there.
Quicker again,
he keeps finding
it, albeit by just 15 thousandths of a second, but
that will cement himself there at the front.
Well, it means his 2 best laps are within 15 thousandths of a second of each other.
I would say that's pretty
consistency
good.
Is key, isn't it?
I'd say Nico will be pretty happy with that. He will have asked Paul to deliver him 2 really strong laps, and Paul's just backed off now.
So we'll keep an eye in the last minute and a half whether or not anybody else can challenge. We've got a purple middle sector there, by the way, from Louis Stern in the number 23 events car. It's down in 8th place, so clearly he's still got confidence in the car underneath him after that dramatic.
Right there, though, this is where he's going to give it up. He just hasn't got across that first apex of 12, 13 and then 14, and we cut away from the 23 car, but he just
got ahead of him.
Just didn't seem like he had that flow, that deliver the car across those apexes in the right way. Just doesn't look really on its toes.
Wozniak up to 3rd, 14 Farage in the number 8 car, crosses the line, and so Louis Stern does improve.
It's just P7 though.
But as does Nick Adcock, and that shuffles Tim Well down a couple of places, who immediately responds, by the way, and makes a Lara Bean goes up to 5th. But 41 seconds to go.
Just still blue sectors, and there's still people making those improvements.
Alex Bekantsov on a good lap here, potentially improvement if he can hook it up in the final sector. The same for Roman Wozniak, good first sector there, but it is that final sector that's proving to bleed the time away, Ollie.
Yeah, it is, and that's where Paul was so strong. And we're still seeing, Bekantsov comes 2 seconds.
Wow.
Within 3/10 now of Paul Lanchere's timing. He's got time for one more here. Has he got everything finally going and hooked up? Michelin switched on, pressure's in the right spot.
Brand new chassis.
Yeah. Just a little bit of a slow shift there. They've got some loose bodywork there on that left rear. It seems like that's just coming away slightly behind that left rear tyre.
Fabien Michel, the first to see the checkered flag. Be no better than 5th for the Duquesne for RSGP. Announced, by the way, earlier this week as being a new service provider for the Duquesne team LMP2 efforts. So that is RSGP stepping up to P2 effectively. Roman Wozniak, 4th place at the moment for the Team Virage number 8 car, and he is very close to the pole time after 2 sectors. Could this be a surprise, or is Sector 3 going to claim another victim in the time terms? Comes down now. How's that? That's nice and neat and tidy. Away he comes. Where can Wozniak? Second by 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, just not quite enough across those turn 13, 14. Can Terence Woodward do anything here? Has he got something in the tank?
Woodward is a quarter of a second off, needs a stellar final sector. It's clean and neat and tidy, but is it enough? Roncher, the moment securing pole position. Woodward stays 4th. Bekantsov, where is he? 4/10 off. Not going to be done on this lap.
Everyone else, it's only Bekantsov that can really challenge, I think, now.
I'll give you a quick update, by the way, as we watch Bekantsov come through, and he will be no better than 3rd. And that was, by the way, with a purple final sector. So he closed the gap right at the end. He'll be disappointed that Roman Wozniak actually managed to leapfrog him there.
Yeah.
One quick update, by the way, for Ajit Kumar followers. Made progress through that session. 6.5 seconds off at the start of it, 4 seconds at the end. So finding time, finding confidence, and hopefully the mental load on him in traffic, which I think has been part of the problem, should start to get better.
So, yes.
That's the finish. Paul Roncher on pole for today's race, and I think we confirmed, didn't we, that he will have the clean sweep.
Yes, I think he will. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
So Paul Roncher takes pole position. Silex Motorsports again continue that. David Addison's gone hot foot down to Beard of the Year so far, Nicolas Lapierre.
As you can imagine, it's all smiles at CLX. Nicolas Lapierre grinning from ear to ear, and Paul Roncher is your qualifying king. He's done it again.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, great start from him. 6 pole in 6 for 6 races is amazing, and it's good. You know, it's always 6 points for the championship, so it's quite important because it's very tight in this matter. So no, he did great, no mistake at all, and he was fast from the beginning of the session. So that was a good qualifying for him.
It got close at the end, though. That gap to the opposition was coming down and down.
Yeah, we could see the other was improving. We know the tire deck is very low here, so when the cars are getting lighter, the time are improving. So we had to watch closely, but we got pole for the 202 races. That's the most important.
You've been a bit unlucky in the races, but the LMP3 racing has been really competitive, hasn't it?
Yeah, it was great since the beginning. This is why also the championship is so tight. So let's see what's going to happen here. You know, here it's a lot of events and it's very difficult for the race traffic management. So we're going to see. Quite excited to look forward to these 2 races.
And also LMP3 is helping find the next generation of sports car stars, isn't it? You know, you've got some really young guys in your car.
Yeah, the lineup is very young this year, and of course, the target is to bring after to the Michelin Le Mans Cup, eventually to P3 LMS, and then LMP2, maybe to Le Mans one day. So it's great to see them starting in this category, and this championship is a great platform for them.
Sure. Have a good race. Thank you, Nicolas.
Yeah, an absolute legend in sports car racing, Nicolas Lapierre, still of course not just with Silex Motorsport as their team principal, but also sporting director of the Alpine Endurance team.
Yeah.
After a stellar career in LMP2 with Alpine, and for that matter in hypercar with Alpine, and of course in LMP1 with Toyota. There's Ajit Kumar's car just about to be turned around and put away until this afternoon. Progress through the session for him.
Yeah, it was. He just quietly worked away at it. Might have been a bit of a challenge for him because the track temp's just that little bit lower right first thing in the morning. And, I mean, as Nico was talking about there isn't that much sort of deg here or energy, let's say, put into the tyre. So getting it up to temperature can be a bit of a challenge for some of these guys, and knowing how to get the tyre switched on and that load that needs to go into it and that confidence. I mean, we just saw a shot there of Paul Roncher coming through turns 2 and then into 3, and as he turned the car into turn 3 you could see the black mark that he was putting down on the tarmac behind the car from that left rear, and that's the sort of level of confidence that you need to have in those high-speed corners to really extract the maximum from these LMP3 cars. And that's kind of a little bit of a difference there at the moment between a Paul Onshare and an Ajit Kumar in that level of confidence and the ability to commit in those high-speed corners and in those big brake zones.
To confirm, looking over your shoulder at your timing screen that does have the second quickest time, it is Paul Onshare with a double pole position for today and tomorrow's races. And those times, by the way, it was a 1:51.440 will be pole position for today. It's a 100th of a second off that for pole position tomorrow. That is amazing consistency from the now whitewashed pole king in LMP3, Paul Onshare. Third place, Alexander Bekantsov on the grid. Then it's Roman Wozniak in the Team Virage number 8. Ligier will be alongside the undisputed pole master of the Asian Le Mans Series this season, Paul Onshare from France, in the Swiss flagged CLX Motorsport number 17
When
car.
we're watching these cars in Dubai, Jacobi and Raban, the two teammates to Paul Onshare, it seemed like as we went through that race, something just sort of seemed to come unhooked or unconnected with those guys, and they couldn't quite extract everything from it. And it'd be interesting just to sort of find out if there was something that wasn't quite right for those guys, because they didn't quite have the pace, it seemed, when the others were then really started to pick up the pace in that last stint, certainly in that second race.
The figure of Ajit Kumar just greeted by his team and quite rightly encouraging him for a job safely done here. This is not an easy circuit to attack.
It's not. It really isn't. And it's tough to be able to really get yourself dialed in for this. And so yeah, he is working extremely hard and trying to unlock that pace.
So not far away from the next and final qualifying session, Ollie, of the 2025-2026 Asian Le Mans Series. But before we do that, we're going to go down to Team Virage. We're not going to talk to Ajit Kumar. We're going to talk to ex-Formula 1 driver Narain Karthikeyan. He is with David Addison right now.
Yeah, Graham, I thought we'd talk to somebody different from within the team. Narain Karthikeyan, first of all, welcome back. It's nice to see you again. What have you been up to for the last few years?
Well, I've stopped racing in 2020 when COVID happened, and then just built my own businesses and busy with the corporate world. But but when my dear friend Ajit said he's putting a team together and he'd like me to drive, and I was really happy to partner with him and be one of the drivers.
For Ajit, it's been a tough season, hasn't it? Because coming from GT4 to LMP3, it's a big step. Is this kind of his decision, his plan, or is somebody saying you ought to go to Le Mans? How much of it is him? How much is he being advised?
I think his dream and our dream as a team is to compete in Le Mans, and he's been driving quite a lot in the GT categories, and LMP3 is a more forgiving car, and the decision was made to drive in a LMP3 category, so he gets to a higher level in driving. And it's not last weekend we had a few issues with traffic and so on, but he's getting better and better, and if you see the delta to the bronze is coming down. Just we need to do a lot of miles, and that's what he's aiming to do.
You're co-driving, but you're driver coach as well, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm not the best coach in the world, but yes, we tried to tell him the braking and so on, which is most critical here to get the lap times. And his car control and in the high-speed corners is very good. It's just the technical corners where he needs to improve on his braking technique. And then sometimes, like new drivers do, they get when the pro drivers come past, they get a little bit flustered, and he's calmed down a lot, and he just puts a lot of pressure on himself. He needs to just chill a bit and go for it, and that's what we are. We're all there as a support team to make that happen.
In Malaysia, when he came into the championship, it was extraordinary to see the support, not just at the track but in the hotel. There's a very bright spotlight on him. With the expectation to succeed from all of his fans.
Yeah, absolutely. But it could be a double-edged sword. They expect results very quickly. But in motor racing or any sport at international level, it's a lot of things need to come together, including getting on top of the game. So it's going to take a lot longer, maybe this season. And mind you, we've been doing it for drivers like me for so many decades now. So it's not fair to kind of get him here and put him under the spotlight and then say we need results. That's pretty tough. Yeah.
Now, what about your racing? You say you've been away for a few years. Is there any rust there? You remembering what happens, or did you just slot back into the car and everything felt like you'd never been away?
No. It felt like I've been away for sure. It's a long time, right? So you build up to it. Yeah, I mean, you're getting older, but wiser, and it takes a little bit of time to come. And these cars are quite different to drive, meaning they're easy, but then you can overdrive them very easily as well. So yeah, it'll take some more time, but it's okay. At this level, it's not a big deal.
When you came to Britain to do Formula 3 and then up to Formula 1 and Karun Chandhok followed you, there was this really bright spotlight on the pair of you from India, and interest in motor racing grew. Is it still strong, or has that dipped a little bit because neither of you have been participating?
Yeah, it's been more than a decade since I did my last Formula 1 race, and Karun earlier. There's no Formula 1 team anymore. No. So yeah, it's the access to it is become very, very difficult. Yeah, you have all these platforms showing these various things on Formula 1, and the F1 movie did its bit, but for an Indian driver, there are many barriers to go through, and finance being the most. So it's very, very expensive, prohibitively expensive. We have some good go-kart tracks coming up or have been running for the last few seasons. So we hope that in the near future, Ajit Kumar, Racing Vision, and all of us combined, we want to see some Indian drivers come through. And of course, we have Kush Maini, but he's in his 4th season in F2. So that's a bit of a gamble, I think. He should have done. Maybe he would have got a top IndyCar drive, but that's his choice. But this is where we are as far as Indian racing is concerned.
Well, Narain, it's great to have you back. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, and as things are planned at the moment, we should see Narain Karthikeyan and Ajit Kumar, but Narain in particular, make his first start at a race around the full Le Mans circuit after the dramas that meant that his debut, 2009, he didn't start that race after an injury suffered on the way to the grid, astonishingly. That race that really launched the sports car career.
Michelin Le Mans Cup, would that be?
Yes, it will, in the Road to Le Mans. There is the result of qualifying for LMP3, 151.440. That was hauled right back in at the end by the Team Virage car, but it will be Paul Lancher on pole position ahead of the Team Virage car, and on the second row of the grid, the 13-inch Europol competition car and the 23 events number 71 are winners from race 2 in Dubai. It is very close in this championship. It's more than 2 cars involved in being close in this championship, and that is a race, and this is a championship, I'm sure, Ollie, that's going to go right to the wire.
It will, and both today's race and tomorrow's race will be intense. But now on to LMP2. Yeah, well, we've seen the GTs, we've seen the LMP3s, and now we turn it up to bonkers, and it's LMP2. And looking in at the board here with first Phil Bart Jr., second generation racer, raced for many years alongside his late lamented dad, and is here with his own son. And we'll come back to another part of the third generation, the Feldmeier family, at some point this weekend. Here are the defending championship team. Algarve Pro Racing, the 25, Michael Jensen from Denmark. And they are still in it,
they are
very much so. Had a very strong run in Dubai, didn't they?
They did. This is the number 49 car from High Class Racing. They've been there and thereabouts, and Jens Buller driving well. Georgia Kolovas in the 43 Inter Europol car in preparation mentally for what lies ahead.
They've not really come to the front, have they, the 43?
It's been ebb and flow, but disappointing, I think, in terms of the overall results. Roberto Lacorte clubbing aboard the 47 car that dominated in Sepang but it's been reeled right back in by this car.
This car, yeah.
The number 4 car. This will be George Kurtz and the CrowdStrike Racing by APR car. An extraordinary result for APR in Dubai. 1, 2, 3 after the 47 Chettelard car was penalised for a refuelling rig issue.
It's been quite some weeks, hasn't it, for CrowdStrike Racing?
It has.
That victory at the Rolex 24.
Absolutely. George Kurtz has found his smile. It's great to see that.
Yeah. Focusing purely on PT this year, isn't he, George Kurtz?
Yep.
He has dabbled and done plenty, actually, in GT, in his Mercedes team he was running.
But, you know, he's proving to be quite a force as a bronze, but alongside him, boy, isn't it nice to see the maturity as well as the speed coming out in Malte Jakobsen, and the part he's played, particularly in conserving tyres, that's allowed Louis Delatraz to be a star turn at the end of the races so far.
Yeah, but his performance, Louis' performances have really come from the fact that Malt's been able to soak up some of the pressure and deliver the car to Louis in perfect condition with the tyre still on it, and enabled Louis to sort of take the plaudits somewhat, let's
Indeed.
say.
Yep. It's 16 cars in this class. It's an extraordinary field of LMP2 cars, and it's a deep field of LMP2 cars. And the racing, wheel to wheel, not just for the podium positions, but right down the field, I think has been an absolute breakout year for the Asia Le Mans Series.
Absolutely, it really has, and there's so many bronze drivers who have coming into this and really finding their feet and really sort of delivering fantastic performances. John Falb is one of those guys, I feel, who really has come to the front, you know, second, thirds in qualifying, and then running second, thirds in those races in Dubai, and bringing all of that experience that he has. I spoke to him earlier on this weekend, actually, and he's just loving his racing. He loves coming here to Yas Marina. He loves racing in Dubai as well, and he thinks that the format that that we've had these last couple of seasons, he is just thrilled to be here and thrilled to be in one of these Oreca 07 chassis, which do manage to sort of like bridge the gap between the bronzes and the pros, and both sets of drivers really get such satisfaction from driving these cars.
He seems to have refound his love for this. He had a couple of seasons away. He's come back, found his feet again. Jean Lacey, we'll talk about him in just a wee moment. But I bumped into John a couple of evenings ago, and he's just buzzing for it, and it's such a joy to see that with a gentleman driver. Charles Lacey there, full season driver, of course, in the FIA World Endurance Championship for Alpine. He's one of the two pros alongside Roberto Lacorte, together with Antonio Fuoco. And all sorts of plans and all sorts of issues at play here. Principally, though, for those leading cars here, it's about Le Mans. It's about the championship here and earning that automatic entry. And a very different look between Algar Pro Racing, CrowdStrike by IPR, who have already, through their record in Europe, got certainly a couple of chips on the table for the selection committee for the 24 Hours of Le Mans for this year. For Chettelard Racing, this is their one hand.
Yeah, it is.
It's this or nothing. And for Roberto Lacorte, as I said on the broadcast from Dubai, it's more important than that, because his plan, should he win, because he can't race with Charles Lacey, he'll be busy in a hypercar, and he can't race with Antonio Fuoco, ditto, is to race with his son. And you're a dad, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
How special is that?
That would be extremely, extremely special for him, and that would be something that every father and son would love to bits. It really is a special thing to do.
Phil Thayer pulls the door closed on the number 6 car. Phil will be looking to have a better weekend here than fortune and issues have made happen so far.
He seems to have great speed, Phil does.
He is going to be great in the B2 car.
And I think it's just time that he needs.
Yeah.
And just let it breathe a little. And it seems that he's just got caught up in some incidents and accidents and a few little mistakes, but it happens. It does happen, and it will come.
Yeah, we're on board briefly with the Vector Sport RLR car, the number 70 car. That's a team that quietly has been making progress, and we'll talk about another, I'm sure, as we get into this session, that quietly the team in the background have been making steps forward, and it's beginning to show. Away we go, and it is the 3 Algar Pro Racing cars that get onto track together, followed by the 2 cars from United Autosports.
Easy guys, just through here.
Yeah.
just go steady.
We shouldn't forget either Giorgio Roda aboard the number 5 car and his qualifying record.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really quite something special, hasn't it? Giorgio has been able to deliver such performance, and he really has been the king of qualifying in P2 over these last few seasons, both in Asian Le Mans and in ELMS. But boy, he just doesn't have the rub of the green or the luck in the races, and he's switched to United for this Asian Le Mans series, hunting for that sort of luck and those performances and those results, and they still are deserting him after 4 pole positions. It is pretty extraordinary. But as we get things going here and underway, George Kurtz at the wheel of the number 4 car, coming down just about 280, 290 k's an hour here into turn 6, fastest part of the racetrack. And once they get the Michelins fully switched on, it's going to be premium performance here from these cars.
I'm going to correct you, it's not 4 pole positions. Jens Muller.
Oh, he did, yes.
In the second race. Here comes the RD Limited car. What a story we've had with them as well, and the Cetilar car late to this session. And we'll get confirmation as that car clears the beam that it is Fred Pordad back at the wheel of the car.
That's great to see.
Yeah, Fred stepping away from driving duties with serious back pain. He's been back to Europe for some treatment for that.
And Romano saw him yesterday, and he said since he's been having the treatment, he's been going faster than ever. Yep. So he's thinking maybe we should continue with the treatment. This is the way to unlock the speed from Fred. Fantastic.
But RD Limited is Romain Dumas, and the French racing legend, world champion, of course, in the World Endurance Championship, multiple Le Mans overall winner. And as for his exploits in a whole range of things, off-road, rally cars, electric vehicles, Pikes Peak.
You basically plug him in and he just makes it go fast.
It's nuts, isn't it? And he's no less animated about this effort.
Massively passionate about everything that he does. Yeah. Very intense. And how he drives his cars is exactly how... Oh, look at that, it's brilliant.
There you go.
Wonderful stuff.
Great stuff, and all sorts of new experiences here. The things about the Asian Le Mans series, we've had talent coming into and through this championship that's become far more well known in Europe and across Asia, and new audiences too, finding out things here. I mean, on the way to and from the hotel, people standing on the rails and watching and asking questions, because you and I are there in the shirts for the series. A pleasure to be able to introduce people to sports car racing. And there, the Morecambe and Wise of CrowdStrike Racing by APR.
Put on quite the performance, don't they, usually?
They really do. Yeah. Not quite sure which of them is a straight man. It's Malte Jakobsen and Louis Delatraz. They've lit this thing up. It's an impressive lineup. It's been a great season so far of LMP2 racing in the Asian Le Mans series. There's something about the atmosphere in this pit lane. If these guys can keep it clean, I think we've got a very special weekend to come here. Do join us for these races wherever you are in the world. If you're just joining us right now, good morning from the United Arab Emirates and the Aspen Marina Circuit. Good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. And remember, 2 races to come. 3 p.m. local time here in Abu Dhabi for this afternoon. And then again tomorrow evening, finishing under the floodlights for the championship and to decide, well, the last 2 cars that will be automatic invitations to the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I think he's just holding back.
Yeah, he is. I think everybody's just breathing a little bit here, and this is the actual penalty that you pay when you all go out together and you don't give yourself room. You have, when the tyre's ready to go and switched on, you've then got all of these cars just driving around slowly, and it's frustrating for everybody here, including all the team managers, trying to navigate their way through all of this traffic. Everybody's trying to get themselves some room, and really you needed to be out like the RD car that's now coming through turn 9, and it's backed itself up nicely, and so it's got itself some room to run and to breathe.
On board with Phil Thayer, 10 minutes to go. George Kurtz leads the session. We're getting down towards sensible times here.
Yeah, and it's actually some of the cars are getting pinged here for driving around unnecessarily slowly, and that's under review. The stewards will be having a look at that.
Well, the risk, you saw it, didn't you? The risk there coming through Hotel Turn, which is a pretty maximum attack corner.
Well, it's a street circuit at that point
It
on
is.
the racetrack, and the division is, Giorgio's gone in deep there. This will be a lap that he'll have to sort of chalk off. Just got in too hard there, asking a bit too much of the Michelins when everything's not quite in the window. But Giorgio, he'll reset and he'll get himself going again. He has been the master of qualifying in this championship. But George is on a good one as well.
Fred Pordad to the top, it's a 1:46.256, but as you can see, there's no shortage of effort being employed here by plenty of these drivers. So we'll wait till this session settles just a little. Kurtz to the top, 1:43.232. That is more like it. Giorgio Roda, at the moment, that is a scored lap at 1:42.990. Takes top spot in this session.
That was with that big mistake at turn 9, so there is plenty on the table here for Giorgio. Expect the timing screen to be fully lit up, flat through there, through turn 3. 3G lateral there, 3G on the brakes here for these P2 cars. And you compare that to a road car, you're lucky if you experience 1G in performance from the very highest level of road cars. So these racing machines are something special, and it's one of the reasons why these guys absolutely love driving these cars.
LMP2, this may be designated in deference to the old LMP1 class that was the factory cars at the time, but make no mistake, these are thoroughbred race cars of the very highest quality, and the performance is extraordinary.
600 horsepower, aren't they?
Yep, the full 600 horsepower available from the Gibson 4.2 litre V8s that have served this class so well since 2017 when this was introduced.
Watching here was the 20 car, John Fowle. It's gone a bit deep there into, I'm trying to spot where that was actually.
Well, we keep focus back again to Giorgio Roda, almost half a second up on his previous best time. You're absolutely right. There was more to be grabbed from it. We're coming to the halfway point in this session. We'll get there just before Giorgio finishes this lap. 1:42.990 is the top time at the moment. Quarter of a second clear of George Kurtz. What can he deliver this time? And there's a big wiggle there, and there's an off for the 47.
Yeah,
that's going to cost just a little bit of time.
Red flag.
It's a red flag as a result. And that is good news for Giorgio Roda, because he completed that lap under green.
He did, but is he going to get pinged there because he came through and that would have been yellow flag there, that final sector, that final corner, and he did improve. It was wasn't a personal best. Oh, it was.
Car 47.
It was a personal best, so let's see.
Please advise us if you can rejoin.
47 just spinning there on the exit of turn 16, final corner.
And the other thing we've got to ask ourselves is, how is this going to affect the qualifying performance of the 47? Not just getting back into the session, but he's caused the red flag.
Oh, yeah, so that means he has to start from the rear.
Well, it's going to mean he loses some lap times here. So that was an attacking
The reason
approach.
why they've red flagged this is because Roberto can't get the car back, turned back around and running again on the racetrack without backing the car up into the racing line.
Indeed, and
it's a blind corner there.
We saw last year that happen, if you remember, with it was the championship leading GT car that was collected by a P3 car in exactly that circumstance.
Yeah, we're going off experience here and what's happened in this multi-class racing.
He's got it backed up a little bit.
He
won't be able to actually get the car turned around.
47, you are telling us you cannot rejoin, but I see the car moving on track.
He is. He's just being very careful. The reverse gears in these race cars are really quite small, and with 600 horsepower, if he were to dump the clutch and try and back it up really quickly, it would break the gear, and then it's a gearbox change and it's all kinds of problems. But it's great that he's got it turned around and going again.
Yeah, we'll find out what the consequences to Roberto Lacorte will be there in just a little wee while. That was the voice of Gwen Boursier, our race director for the Asia Le Mans Series this season from Race Control. There is the team in the AF Corsa garage, because AF Corsa are assisting this effort.
Antonio Fuoco there in the Ferrari hat.
47 is under investigation for causing a red flag and will not be allowed to rejoin the session.
There you go. Well, that's the first part of the penalty.
This could have significant implications for the championship. The 4 and the 47 are tied on points.
Well, he's already...
Cars may pick up the pace to come back to the pits. Cars may pick up the pace to come back to the pits.
He's already bottom of the times, so that will be back of the grid of LMP2 for Roberto Lacorte.
Yeah, so they have to drive back under 80 k's an hour until they're being given instructions by Gwen to
pick up the pace.
Pick up the pace and then get the cars back to the pit lane so that we can get this session going again.
And it will restart, I'm
Yeah.
sure, as soon as this final car is back on pit road. We've already got the queue at the end of the
And this is tough. This is tough for these guys because they've been so primed, and all of the adrenaline will be pumping. They're really in the zone. Got the tyre right there, and this would have been the laps to really deliver the performance. And this is just going to check them, and they're going to have to restart, get themselves re-going again.
It's almost precisely halfway in this session. Let's give you the order as things stand. Giorgio
47,
Roda.
please pick up the pace. 25, pick up the pace. We would like to resume as soon as possible.
Giorgio Roda leads this session on 142.276. CrowdStrike Racing by EPR. George Kurtz, he's a second back from that 143.325. Then High Class Racing, number 49, the only other car that has set a pole position this year. Jens Reiner Muller sits, what is that? It is 500th a second back from George Kurtz. Georgios Kolovos with a good qualifying session so far for the 43 Inter Europol competition car. He's right there. United Autosports Phil Fayer, 5th. Proton Competition Stefan Aust in 6th. RD Limited's Fred Pordad sits in 7th. And the 8th place Proton Competition car is Horst Felbermeyer Jr. Nielsen Racing's Kreiter Lentudis in the 64 car sits in 9th place, and the 45 Ponos Racing car of Hirokatsu Sujiko, now being helped by the
Session will resume on a short call.
United Autosports team. That car completes the top 10. DCAR Engineering, ARC Bratislava,
10,
Vector Sport,
9,
RLR,
8,
25
7,
to 20 from Algar
6,
Pro Racing,
5,
and Chettelar Racing
4,
complete the 16.
3, 2, 1. Qualifying session has resumed.
So qualifying resumes. The cars track through again to rejoin. And cars will take a little while, of course, to get back up to speed. And where are the outliers here? Where are the cars that need to make that progress? Well, it is the two Algar Pro Racing cars in the first place, Michael Jensen and John Falb. Right at the back of this grid at the moment in 14th and 15th. Giorgio Roda leads the way. It's now 6 minutes to go, and of course it will be less. There is Roberto Lacorte being consoled by Amato Ferrari. He's going to be very hot in more ways than one.
Yeah, it's tough. Super, super tough scenario and situation, and just one tiny little slip. Things weren't quite in the window. Temperatures not quite there. Car parked very lonely there in the pit lane. It's a tough, really, really hard one for them when they've done so well in this championship. Let's see how things go. There's plenty of time here to get this going again. Just cool heads now, and Amato will be really feeling that, you know, and just feeding that back and just keeping that temperature like down.
They came into this double header in such good form. 2 wins at Sepang, dominant position, and then reeled right back in by the number 4 car, the CrowdStrike Racing by APR car, with 2 wins at Dubai, and then a penalty costing them further points, so we're even on points.
Yeah.
Massive pressure. And we're going to find out what Roberto thinks about that, because we're going to go down right now as the teams get back up to speed. David Anderson is with Roberto right now.
Roberto, not a good start to the day. What happened? Was it down to you, down to the car? Tell us.
Maybe pushed too much and the first push without the rear tire ready, and spoon the last corner. Nothing more to say. It will be more tough than previous.
Commiserations. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right, not much more to say than that. He's clearly bitterly disappointed. The key thing now, you said it, Ollie, is get the spirit back,
really reset,
get the emotions out of this.
Exactly. You know, there's a 4-hour race this afternoon. Yes, they are going to be starting from the back, but he's got 2 amazing teammates. He's got a brilliant team around him. They've clearly had the car in the window this week. You know, it's really all is not lost. Yeah, this is just a little bit of a setback. So just reset, go again. John Falb, absolutely loving driving this Oreca 07 chassis. He's been pushing the limits here. He's currently up to 4th. Nicely done there from John. I'm sure there's far more in the tank here. He's going to continue to press on. Good work, John.
It is indeed. Giorgio Roda still leads this session, and it's weird, isn't it, how the session time seems to click down more quickly when people are under pressure. Just 3.5 minutes to go. A couple of laps still available for all of these cars. Giorgio Roda leads this session by just under a second now from Jens Reino Müller. Puts in a 1:43.206 to sit second place here. And of George Kurtz, then Alex Matschel, who's put in a great run. The DK Engineering number 3 car, he sits 4th.
This is Phil Fair, I think we're on board with now. United Autosports number 6. And Phil has the pace, has the speed. He was excellent in qualifying in Dubai. Just had that little bit of a slip as he came in at the end of the session. And that cost him dearly.
We were talking,
weren't we,
group of us, about Phil Fair and moving forward in this sport. Raced in Toto, was it Formula Atlantic?
Yes,
years and years and years
2004.
ago. Has been out of the sport for 2 decades. This guy has all the attributes, all the signs that he could be a big part of that bronze driver scene moving forward if he decides to stick with it.
Absolutely.
I hope he does.
Yeah, I really do. Jens Reino Müller, again, really pressing on here. He's quickest in these first 2 sectors. Giorgio has gone purple, though, in that second sector. This is the critical final sector there that's really going to shape this qualifying session. Can he find this performance in the 49 car here, just through the turns 13, 14? Giorgio's just in front of him and he drifted the car into turn 14.
Falb goes second with a purple 3rd sector. He's on a charge for half a second off. It needs to be a good lap. Drifts through the final turn. Giorgio Roda, 1:42.179, extends the gap by a further 10th or so. So this is all of a sudden a battle again. How many times have we seen this? That when you think it's done, someone pushes, and all of a sudden it's a different story.
Yeah, as we've been hearing from a number of the drivers, this track is different to Dubai, how it's generating the energy in the tyre, and they can run for longer. And as the fuel comes down, and the fuel has a big effect in these P2 cars, I think we're going to see more and more performance here.
So, Roda, Falb, Müller, George Kurtz, Michael Jensen up into 5th place now. He's made that recovery we said was required for the 25 car. Wants to keep himself in the mix at the front of this grid and not in the melee at the back of these 16 cars. We've seen them, we keep calling them battle packs, and it's exactly what it's felt like. 2, 3, 4 cars at a time, hammering away, and what he wants to be is in the lead for.
John Falb, personal best in the second sector. He's still some 7/10 off of what Giorgio's managed to do, but he was very, very strong in this final sector the previous lap. And can he string it all together? All about the flow here. These off camber corners underneath the hotel, just flowing the speed through and off nicely up against the barrier. Brilliant stuff, John. And can he get it through this final turn and deliver it in? A bit of a wiggle on the brakes there, bit of a snap, but he's got it all gathered up, and maybe a titch of track limits, but it should be good.
It was a purple 3rd sector.
There we go. He really is setting the car up nicely in that final sector.
He goes again. He didn't improve on that lap, but he goes again as that purple final sector is bettered by Giorgio Roda, who again does not improve remarkably. The performance is coming in the 3rd sector with the P2 cars.
Yes, it is, and everybody just needs to work on their flow in that 1st sector and then that 2nd sector, and it's all about the braking, particularly into 5 and to 6, and then how they deliver the car into 9. All of those spots are super important.
It is a better lap as the checkered flag is out now from Jens Reino Müller, but still just under half a second gone.
John Falb, though, really quick in that 1st sector. So's George Kurtz. This is coming.
Comes through with an improved time. He's going to be 6th and no better, though. Into Europol competitions, Georgios Kolovos will be no better than 5th. They both take the checkered flag.
John Falb just taking a bit of extra curb there at the apex of 6 and 7. Was it a little bit too much? Because that can unhook the drive off of there all the way down this straight into turn 9.
There's going to be no improvement on this lap, I don't think, from Jens Reiner Muller, but Giorgio Roda up on his provisional pole time, close to it. A poor second sector, I'm afraid, from John Falb. Same with George Kurtz. It's bled away a bit of that time. I think this is going the way of a double pole position again for Giorgio Roda.
Yeah, does look that way.
So around they come to complete these laps, but it's that second sector that seems to have done the damage here. To cross the line, here comes John Falb, and will there be an improvement? The answer is there will not.
No.
George Kurtz, no improvement there. Jens Reiner Muller is off the pace here. It is going to be, and he takes the checkered flag, a double pole position in Abu Dhabi for the number 5 United Autosports Oreca in the hands of Giorgio Roda. 5 poles out of 6 this season. Not quite the whitewash he would have wanted, but what he wants way, way more than that, Oliver Gavin, is a race win.
He does. He's desperate for it, and he's doing his bit. Really, he's doing a fine job behind the wheel in these qualifying sessions and at the start of those races, but he's just had dreadful luck here at the United Garage. Lots of smiles, lots of handshakes, lots of high fives.
Jim Maguire to the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Part of the team ownership group now of United Autosports. Long-time gentleman driver in P3 and P2. Jim?
Yeah.
And enjoying his role here.
Roda Senior there, just giving everybody the big high fives and the handshakes.
Right in the middle there.
Yeah.
Mikkel Jensen, part of this effort, and of course now named as a McLaren factory driver in a hypercar, moving over from Peugeot.
The family's here,
There
wonderful to see. And this track and this environment here really is brilliant for that, seeing so many.
So in they come. So interrupted with that red flag, that dramatic effect on the grid position for the number 47 car. They will start from 16th place. You can see the order on the tower graphic on the left-hand side. There is the 47 car. Well, United Autosports, so long a big part of prototype racing around the world. David Addison is hot foot down to United's garage.
Very hot
He's
feet.
with Richard Dean in the United garage right now.
Richard Dean, really good start to the day, but that's just the appetizer, really. The hard work is yet to come.
You never like a but in there, but I agree. We've had enough poles in this series now. We need to convert it. So there's the main core of work still to do.
Let's start with qualifying, though. Giorgio, that's what, 5 from 6. He's been your qualifying king, hasn't he?
Yeah, you know, he's super quick, super professional. He works really hard. You know, he sits in all the briefings and he really pushes to get what he wants, and he knows what he wants because he goes and delivers when you give him it.
But, and here's another but, do you buy all that speed and then that gearbox drama early on that you know was out of anybody's control seemingly? So you have been unlucky.
Yes, I mean, I'd definitely swap the poles for a win. You know, we're in good shape. The 3 cars that we're sort of looking after here on P2 and on the McLaren side as well, they've all done a really good job. Phil Fayer's done a great job. Yuri in the Panos Japanese entry, that's his best time. So they've all achieved all their personal targets. Now we've got to convert it in the race.
Right, we've got 2 more chances then of race wins, but just reflect on this championship as a whole, because for effectively a winter series, it's remarkably strong, isn't it?
It's super strong. You know, we're lucky to get an entry. I think there's a lot of teams didn't get on the grid here, so they're obviously doing something right when we're all here pushing for. There's not enough places on the grid, so and the quality, the teams here, the drivers. Yeah, it's a real tough, tough series. I think the standard's just as high as any of the other series that we do. Clearly, we've just come from Daytona 24 hours straight to here, fairly grueling, but I don't think there's much tougher competition here than we've got here on the grid.
Is it an easy sell to bronze drivers? I mean, do they understand what Asian Le Mans is all about and the circuits it goes towards? You have to do a bit of explaining.
You know, motorsport's expensive, so how we put the budgets together is never easy. But you know, we're racing here, as you pointed out. This is a winter series. It's a warm-up. We can all go testing in the winter. We can all try and find a track in the UK at Snetterton in February is not going to be easy to predict, but the weather here, we're actually, not just us, but a few teams are staying on here testing after the race on Monday and Tuesday with the European Le Mans team. So it gets us mileage in, and I was going to say shakes a couple off, but we're racing every month of the year, so I think our crew in the background here probably would like a little bit of a break, but you've got to push really hard because everybody else is pushing.
And I guess as well, like you say, you can go testing anywhere, but you drive round and round here because you're racing. You're learning about how other people are working. The pit crew is working with the driver. You're understanding the regulations that the ACO put in as well.
Yeah, you can attempt to simulate a race weekend, whether it's qualifying or full course yellows or all the other safety cars that can throw at you in the race. But there's nothing better than experience it in real time here. And it's not just about the drivers training. It's, we're integrating some new people here, and they're getting used to how we work, and every pit stops, it's a training exercise for everybody. So yeah, it keeps us sharp. Yeah.
Excellent. Now for racing, Richard Dean, thank you. Well done.
Yeah, great stuff from Richard Dean, and nicely explained. There's all sorts of things in play in the Asian Le Mans Series. It is about winning. It is about earning those entries to Le Mans in GT and LMP2, but also all sorts of other things that can be in play. The training, the preparation, etc. There is the qualifying classification. United Autosports once again at the top in the 5-car at Giorgio Road, 142.179 from High Class Racing. Algarve Pro Racing's 20, and the equal leaders in this championship, the number 4 CrowdStrike by EPR car. CLX Motorsport, clean sweep for Paul Lanchere in qualifying this season for the 17 car. Out of the 8 from Team Virage, the 13 from Interpol, and the 71 race winners in Dubai from 23 events. And Get Speed and QMMF by Get Speed again dominate the front row in the opposite order this time. Steve Jans it is that took the top honours there. Sets it up nicely, Ollie. There are 8 hours of racing to go. Now 50 points remain, and that will have affected some of the opportunities to take the championship in GT, at least with that qualifying result mathematically. There's our third place car on the grid, John Falb. We're going to see as well High Class Racing, Jens Reiner Müller, and United Autosports, Giorgio Roda. Just as we wrap up this session, what are you expecting from the 8 hours to come?
Well, I think that 5 car, Richard was talking very in great detail there about this championship and how it's built and really what the pieces are here to be successful. And I feel that the 5 car is really going to be one of those cars in the mix and really just maybe turning this championship title and chase on its head in the P2 class. So I expect fireworks this afternoon.
As the Etihad aircraft comes across the circuit to the astonishing airport just over the boundary of this
These guys have been
circuit.
waking me up every morning.
That's what it was, dear me. It is going to be a battle for the title between the cars at the lead, but there's hunger there as well. Join us later this afternoon, 3 p.m. local. Check on the Asian Le Mans Series website for where that is, wherever you are in the world. From David Addison down in pit lane.
Looking good this morning, I feel.
He did.
Very
good. From Ollie Gavin alongside me, Graham Goodwin here in the booth. And from the whole production team here, join us. Make it something that the world community of endurance racing fans around the world tees up for this 2026 season with. From us in the 2025-2026 Asian Le Mans Series qualifying. Join us for the race from Yas Marina, 3 p.m. today.